What's good, basketball fans? Welcome into Inside the Green Room with Danny Green.
Sure.
I'm Harrison Sanford. I was about to say, I was waiting for you to do the cheer.
Yeah, I was just a little early here, so it took a little minute.
I was like, there you go. But we're live and direct to you. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode, and guys for being subscribers. And if you're not a subscriber, this is a good time to do that. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, give us a comment or two. And if you're listening, use the podcast app, particularly the Audacy app. Make sure you give us a 5-star rating. That is much appreciated. With that being said, a lot is going down in the National Basketball Association. Let's get right into it. Chief among them, in my opinion, Danny, the fall of the Dallas Mavericks. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Just a month ago, it seemed as if this team finally was going to potentially get healthy and they were going to have opportunity to make the second half push. Just a year ago, they were in the NBA Finals. And now the Kyrie Irving torn ACL injury has really, in my opinion, set this franchise back at least a year and a half. And it might have set the fans back for an eternity, Danny. I am not kidding. If you look at what happened here, Dallas Mavericks, from where they were to where they are, Kyrie Irving torn ACL, it's not out the realm of possibility. He doesn't return until next February, Dan. And even if he returns to next February, there's no saying that he's going to return to the form that he had. Next year is Anthony Davis's last year before he has an opportunity to opt out of his contract. Nico Harrison and the Mavericks front office made this deal with a title window in mind for 2 to 3 years. You've essentially lost 1.5 years, and you could still lose AD. Let's not forget now, Kyrie Irving this summer has a player option. Who's to say he opts out, Danny, and says, maybe there's a team that believes in me when I come back? Or even if he opts into the $46 million. There's $46 million off the books that you can't rely on the court. I hope he comes back healthy. I hope he comes back as the same Kyrie. But for next year, you can't guarantee that. You can't say that with 100% confidence. You have to have some level of assurance, and I don't think the Dallas Mavericks can find any. Danny, it is – I feel so much more, but I just want to say, obviously I feel bad for Kyrie. I really feel bad for Mavericks fans.
Especially since the trade.
I've never seen a fan base devastated this much. This fast.
That short of a span, in about a month. First and foremost, condolences to Kyrie. I saw his remarks, his comments. He seemed in a positive light. But he said a year and a half. I've torn bubble ligaments and gotten back sooner than a year and a half. So Kyrie has some time. I think he'll be back and well and fine by Christmas. So it's March now. Hopefully he gets surgery within this month. And you have April, May, June, July, August, September. That's 6 months right there. I've seen some guys get back in 6-7 months from ACL. Joe Ingles have done it. So by October, it's 7 months for him. Now you can give him extra 2 months, 8, 9, December. I think he can be back and pretty solid and close to his normal form, not normal form, but better form by February. So yes, he can be back and playing by December. He can be getting rhythm by January and February. He could be somewhat himself. Obviously, when it comes to ligament tears, you get a better feel for it and a better return of results the following year. But I fully expect the way Kyrie puts his efforts and dedications into this game that he'll be back. Could be back by the start of the season for all we know, but he'll be back before Christmas. So if he gives you a chance to get back before Christmas and you monitor and manage the knee the right way, the way Clippers have done with Kawhi, he could be playing some of his best basketball back by playoff time and being okay. But yes, this is a tough blow. Since the trade, AD right away, first game in. Now and then they had all their bigs out: Lively, Gafford, Washington was out for a second, and now some of them are back. But now you got Kyrie back, so this might be a thing for them, or a message to them to all right, maybe we should just focus on getting everybody good and healthy. But this is a chance for the young guys to kind of Dinwiddie as well to kind of emerge. Hardy. All the guys that you have on the bench to kind of, solidify themselves, get some reps in. And even, I wouldn't say even without Kai, but without Kai, can they win a playoff series? It depends on that matchup.
No. Stop. No, come on. I appreciate your optimism. I think it's one of your best traits, honestly. And I love having optimistic people around me. I love having people who see the good things.
They can't beat the top teams, but if they match up,
come on,
like
bro.
Phoenix, they play Phoenix or somebody like that, which I don't think will happen. But if they match up with one of those teams, bro, honestly, if healthy with the big, they're not beating. Okay, who? I can't even. Hold on. There's not many teams. There's not many teams.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
I'm assuming Gafford. I'm thinking AD can get you. I'm thinking AD, Gafford, Lively, the bigs, and then Dinwiddie.
But AD's not. But Shams Charania reported that Anthony Davis is now considering, or there's been discussions or thoughts that AD should sit down for the rest of the season. So if I'm AD, I'm not playing for the rest of the season. For what?
So my predictions were if AD was back and healthy with those other bigs and Dinwiddie. So if they all played with the roster as it stands, without Kyrie, with everybody healthy, can they win a playoff series? Possibly against certain matchups, but most of those matchups that I'm looking at it doesn't seem to be in their favor.
No, bro.
So unless there's like maybe a play-in game, Golden State, I don't know. So but AD sitting down, then it's for sure it's over. But yeah, this is tough. This is a tough blow for the Mavericks and the Mavericks fans. And I'm sure there's a lot of pressure up top right now to do something. A lot of pressure getting from the fan base outside of what Nico had made the decision to make the trade. And then after this, people are like, this is why you don't, it's making the trade look bad. But with healthy, everybody, this would have been a good trade for them. They could have gotten back more, yes, for sure. He could have explored other options, definitely. But this was a good trade all in all if everything panned out and was healthy. But it just seems like it took a real unhealthy turn.
This is why, Danny, you don't trade a 26-year-old superstar, because even if you have an injury season, you have so many more trips to the table. You have so many more opportunities. Yeah, you dwindled. You might have. Now I understand the.
You took this year out, so maybe next year you only have 2 more years out. You have 2 more opportunities with the 25, 26-year-old. You have 10 years.
Exactly. That is why. And granted, I made and when I watched them play against the Lakers, even AD and Lively and Gafford didn't play. I said to myself, Mavericks could beat almost anybody in the Western Conference if healthy. And so I understand the basketball logic in trying to create the best team. But that best team does not have the longevity that a team with Luka Doncic on it would have. And therein lies the problem. So when you it's just a bad look. I remember, Danny, I forget the year, but I remember the moment. When Phil Jackson came to the Knicks, right? And he tried a clean shot.
Yeah, hired Derek Fisher.
And so many things happened. And I remember they traded Kristaps Porzingis. And I remember at that moment in time, and you know me, I'm a born hard Knicks fan. At that moment in time, I took a break from the Knicks. I said, I can't take this anymore. I'm tired of rooting for a team where I have no control on what they do. And when they do things that I don't think make sense or don't fit the long-term vision of the franchise, then I can't keep going through frustration. So I remember at that time, and this was coming off the Knicks tape era with Carmelo and Amari and Shump and JR, I said, yo, I'm done. And I literally took a break.
Did they even get good pieces back for Porzingis? I'm trying to remember who was in that trade.
I don't even.
Dallas?
It was underwhelming. It was underwhelming, at least at the time for me. And literally, and then you had to deal with them.
Welcome,
Julius.
Yeah, welcome to fanhood, kid.
Yeah, exactly. So
most teams, most fans don't have any control over, and a lot of times it does not make sense to a lot of the fans. But they are, I will say, learning the other side of it. That they are doing their due diligence and seeing certain things, and it's a risk, it's a gamble with a lot of players and what you see happening. Some of them you probably shouldn't take, but some people like to stir it up and say, you know what, we need to mix it up. There's cap things we need to shake up. We need to find space or something. So they make it what it looks like panic button decisions. So yeah.
So with that being, I know you're getting some front office experience now. Honestly, so Tim Bontemps, ESPN NBA reporter, said this on a recent podcast of the Hoop Collective with him and Brian Windhorst. He suggested that the Mavericks, if they were actually cared about the future and the health of the franchise and no pride or ego was involved, that they should trade Anthony Davis. And I said to myself, Danny, if I was the general manager and I had a 10-year contract, I knew I had the opportunity to make mistakes and correct them. I didn't have to fix it the immediate year. I didn't have to play the public relations game. I was just able to do the job. And I don't got to worry about any external factors, and I don't got to worry about getting fired. Honestly, if I was Nico Harrison, I'd say, you know what? Humble this one. The only way to save myself and to save the future of the franchise is to trade assets like we have now, like Anthony Davis. Because again, Anthony Davis has a player option after year. He's more than likely going to sit the rest of next year. What if the Dallas Mavericks are like 30 and 52 next season because Kyrie's not playing back-to-backs, he's not the full health, and the guys just don't develop? Well, I'm not staying here for another year. I'm opted out. I best believe, regardless of what happens, Anthony Davis will be looking for a contract extension more than one would assume if he wants to stay, if he wants to make the max dollars. So he's going to be looking at other opportunities anyway. I challenge anybody to tell me that the Dallas Mavericks going to be the most appealing place to him a year from now. They won't.
Bruh. I mean, that's a wild listen, not a crazy take.
It's not.
From the outside. On the inside, that is a wild decision. That is a wild consideration. After trading away your 26-year-old, you're basically admitting to the people that we messed up. We were wrong.
Put your pride aside and just get the job. That's a problem in this world.
Nah, son.
Hey, Danny,
I'm with you. But no, I gotta figure this out. The reason you made this happen is because of win now. If you trade it, who do you get for Anthony Davis besides who's gonna want to take him and trade another superstar for him? Who's gonna take that risk?
Listen, I'm
gonna give you the answer. Not many people, because they're like, listen, you guys just took a risk, and the first day you got him, he got injured. Why would we trade our superstar? So you gotta, if you're gonna win now, if you're trying to say, all right, I want to extend. Nico made this trade because it was like, I'm not gonna be here 10 years from now. Me and Jay Kidd are gonna be buried. We're not gonna be here. We got 2 or 3 years to make this happen. So if you're trying to make this happen in 2 or 3 years, only way you trade Anthony Davis is if you get another superstar. Either a superstar big or a superstar wing. Is it Edwards? Is it Karl Anthony Towns if you're trying to get another big? It's not Porzingis because that didn't work out, but that's the only way you trade him. But nobody is trading. There's other superstars or their bigs as it stands for Anthony Davis, who healthily, like his injuries, said his body is not reliable. So that's a tough one to decide. Now, if you're starting over like OKC, cool. All right, listen, it's time to start over. But no, you made the decision because you have to win right now. And unless you can trade Anthony Davis for win now pieces, which I don't see happening, that's going to be another mistake.
That's it. That's what makes it so difficult. The NFL scouting combine happened last week. So a lot of talk now in sports is about the NFL draft. And there are some teams, Danny, that we all know that in order to win in the Super Bowl, you need a good quarterback. You need a great quarterback usually, and in order to build a great team, it's more advantageous to get a rookie quarterback who's being paid on a rookie scale, who plays at a high level, and you're allowed then, because of cheap dollars, considering the position, you could stack out the roster. And I say that because even NFL GMs, and I was talking about this the other day on the radio, it's almost like they're so scared to take a quarterback because they're afraid that the quarterback might not pan out. And they'd rather get the quick fix, the Aaron Rodgers for a year, Kirk Cousins for a year. So
you got to take the risk. Yeah. At some point, you got to take the risk.
Well, that's the thing. They don't want to take that rookie quarterback risk because their job title as general manager is tied to the success of one player, one trade. It's not like you could just – it's unfortunate that general managers can't operate with like a 5-year window, 10-year window. Like so many of these GMs, basketball, football, it feels as if they're under a crunch to win and win now in so many different spots that they jeopardize the actual future of the franchise. Like they have a window, you got to get it done then. Don't, you're out of here. And some franchises are just not in that position. For sure.
I'm with you. Maybe in football, I understand, but basketball, I think you have a pretty good window. Before they look at the general manager or the front office and fire people, they look at the players to trade. Then they look at the coach. Then they go back to the players. Then they go back to the coach. Then they go to the front office. So you have, within that time span, you have at least 3 or 4 years before you get it right. And I'm going to say 5 years. I think you get a 5. When you sign as a general manager, they give you like a 4 or 5 year window, depending on the situation. And most of them is rebuild, or some of them win now. But if you make the right moves or decent moves, you can stretch that window for a while until they look at the front office and say, hey, all right, we've done everything you asked. You know, in terms of getting trading players, we've gotten coaches. You had these pieces. I don't know why you weren't able to get it done or why you made the right moves or made this move. When this move didn't happen, this person did this and played and balled out. And you did that. You missed out on these opportunities. You missed out on the draft. We drafted the wrong guys 3 years in a row now. That's when it's like, all right, they look at the general manager.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I find it like I don't know if anybody, the head coaches, the players, the front office executives, I don't think we are real. I don't think in every circumstance everything is realistic. There's a realistic timetable for when things should be executed or when the actual goal should be accomplished. There's some players should be on a 3-year plan. They only get a year. There's some coaches who should be on a 2-year plan. They only get a year. It's and because
but they do sign for multiple. They sign for multiple years. They get paid for those years, but they just don't last those years.
Yeah, for sure. But when you get fired so early, sometimes your longevity at that position then comes in question. So yes, you still get paid, but there's not a residual effect. With that being said, let's move over to another tumultuous situation, this time in Phoenix. Now, with the Kyrie Irving news, Danny, it would be assumed that the Phoenix Suns should then rise up from the 11 seed to at least the 10 seed and be a playing team. I think they'll be there. I still think it's a shame, Danny, that I can't say with full confidence that they will.
It is a shame. I don't think they do. I mean, San Antonio went down. They lost Wemby. You know, Dallas has dropped and lost Kyrie and amongst others. As it stands, you would think a team like Phoenix would take advantage of the situation. Golden State has. You know, they're making a run. They're doing what they're supposed to do. Even the Lakers are balling out of control.
Blazers are playing good basketball, Danny.
Blazers are hooping. But like you said, it's a shame because you can't say with confidence, I just don't see it. They don't look collective. They don't look bought in. They look like they still have a lot to figure out. And at this point in the season, it's too late to have a lot to figure out. If it was December, cool. If it was November, even January, it's now March. We are in the month of basketball. March Madness, tournament time, getting ready for playoff time. April, May, and June is the months that you will be playing your best basketball. If you have a lot to figure out in March, you're in a lot of trouble. So this offseason, I expect them to be very active and figuring out what they need to make moves for. And that's in terms of everybody is on the table, to kind of start over. But at this point, this is where front office, I don't know how long they've been there. I think they've been there for a while. This might be the season where they look at the front office like, hey, you guys had
James Jones. Yeah, you had a lot of shots at the crap stable. Had a lot of different iterations of this team.
There might be some pressure on them now, but you have to start over. It means you made a lot of bad decisions. Now, ultimately, a lot of these decisions were pushed upon by the owner. So some of those decisions they said made happen. So he might get some leeway or some slack for that. He might get some, a little extra leash for that. But, bruh, these decisions you made, we had a good team that was in the finals just 4 years ago. What happened since then?
I think it's interesting too, Danny, and that this is another podcast for another day. But how easy is to be a general manager for certain teams if the owner keeps his hands in the cookie jar? I know what I'm doing.
You got to stop getting involved.
But they're the ones cutting the checks.
Well, they're gonna learn the hard way,
and that's that.
At the end of the day,
how you not listen to us?
For sure, they do the firing, so it makes you look bad at your job. So you do have to listen to them. But in the same sense, I think I would be pushing back. I would.
You'll push back. Who's making the executive order at the end of the day?
Who's taking the blame?
The man
who's getting fired?
The one who's getting fired is not the one cutting the checks.
Exactly. And the man who's getting blamed is the one who's getting fired. So I don't know how that needs to go. But if I'm in that position,
it's a nasty world.
I'm letting them know, listen, I got fired for moves that the owner wanted me to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm going publicly. I'm letting it be known. Listen, man, I did my job. I did what I was supposed to do, and I tried to fight for this. He fired me. This is not my fucking fault. I'm not taking blame for this. No, I won't. I don't care. You can fire me all you want. Making it seem like it's me. I'm pointing the back at you. Yeah, because it sucks. It's a situation where it's a lose-lose because he can make a decision, but you're the one they're looking at if things go wrong, when you get fired. So at some point as a GM, you got to say, look, I understand you want this to happen.
The Dallas Mavericks decision. This is a Suns decision.
This is a Phoenix Suns decision. We've done the research. Bradley Beal's a great player. We've done the research. This does not add up to us. As much as you want to put tickets and seats and sell this, and that, we can't do it. Sorry, Matt, I'm sorry. We love you, and you're going to fire me. And if I'm wrong, then you can fire me. But I'm not making that decision.
I know this is wrong. I'm not about to get fired for something that I know that's wrong.
I'm
not about to make a decision that I know it's not going to work, and then you're going to fire me because it didn't work. No, I'm not doing that.
I'll get fired on my own decisions here than your decisions.
It's crazy, bro. It really is crazy. All right, let me keep to the Suns here. So Kevin Durant, they'll get if they make it to the play-in. They're going to get knocked out. I don't have any faith in them. I don't even want to waste any more time talking about the basketball X's and O's as it pertains to the Suns. Because, frankly, let's just keep it real. It doesn't matter. They're not going anywhere. They're not playing with They're not playing with the collective spirit. And I don't find watching. It's so wild to me that a team with one of the best scorers of all time and one of the best scorers in this generation, I have no desire to watch them play. And I watch basketball every single night. It's sad. It really is. With that being said, Kevin Durant more than likely is going to get traded in the offseason, and it looks like the Phoenix Suns will work with him. I don't know what he's going to want to do, and we could spend more time, and later I was talking about potential destinations. I would just say this. I hope the Thunder don't win this year so that he go to the Thunder. I think that would be a beautiful basketball story.
For him to finish his career in OKC.
He goes back to OKC. He don't have to spend. He knows he has a certified Western Conference finalist type of team at the very least. So as he's in the end of his career. He don't got to waste time trying to build up another roster. He could come in and fit in seamlessly. He fits in seamlessly anywhere. He doesn't have to be the leader. That team already has leaders. And for the Phoenix Suns, the Oklahoma City Thunder are flooded with first-round draft picks and draft capital. They don't know what they're going to do with them. Yeah. Why? And if you're Sam Presti, might as well. Now, not only am I going to get Kevin Durant, I'm going to get my team back on national TV because I have this superstar.
And he's a guy that can take
picks anyway.
He's a guy that can take Chet Holmgren under his wing and teach him, the ins and outs of being that 7-foot guard. But yeah, he completes the team more. You have your two front line with Shea and Jalen, and then you have Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet, and then you have him at the 3-4. He can do both, and then you try to keep your depth with guys like Isaiah Joe, Alex Caruso off the bench. I don't know who you might have to give up for him, but you have a stacked team, and you can keep a stacked team and give up picks and maybe a few small pieces and have him there just for the short term because he's only got 2 years left.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it happens. I would love to see it. I think it's the one place that makes a world of sense to me. But I do think it's interesting, though, Danny, I'm going to switch the conversation, that he did say, and a lot of people during the trading deadline when the reports came out that he basically pushed back on a trade to Golden State. A lot of people thought he had some type of beef with Draymond Green, XYZ, or with the fan, whatever it might be. And he just frankly, he came out and said I think it was on Draymond Green's podcast, he said that he didn't want to be traded during the middle of the season. So yeah, I don't think that's the case. With that being said, I want to change the attention now to the Golden State Warriors because they are absolutely hooping right now. Saw them at Madison Square Garden the other day. Steph Curry is Steph Curry. He just lights it up over there.
So it's different. It's different with no cat. Give him a little grace.
Different thing. Yeah, different thing. I would say this, though, Danny. I know everybody's optimistic about them, and rightfully so. I still think there's I cannot properly say that this team has a chance to win an NBA Finals or to even get to the Western Conference Finals. I can't see it until I see how it works with Kuminga and Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green on the floor. I know it's working right now.
When is it Kuminga expected to come back?
It's got to be sometime this month, and I don't. They're going to have to play him, right? Like
yeah,
they have to play. He's too good not to play. But I don't know how all three of those Jimmy Butler, when they played against the Knicks earlier this week, when he hit a three, it was only his second three as a Warrior.
Yeah, he's only been there a couple weeks. Only played 10 games. He sat out a game, so he's played like 8-9 games. 8-9.
He's like 9-10 games. Yeah, he's hit and he's hit 2 3-pointers,
which is about on pace for him. So, yeah. When I'm looking at it, I was very skeptical, but now that I see it, I'm pretty optimistic with it. I like what they have, and I think Jimmy is a chameleon. He's looking more like a chameleon in that sense. Him and Draymond have figured something out. And I think he's going to open up the floor for Kuminga. He knows he's making heads up plays, man. The presence of mind, get rebound, tip outs to three to Steph. He's allowing Steph to rest. With Kuminga, it makes them deeper. They're doing a lot of cuts, man. So, they're setting screens for Steph, but you have a threat like Kuminga slash into the basket, offensive rebounding, Jimmy and Draymond quarterbacking. These guys are going to get great looks. Podziemski's shooting a little bit better. Moses Moody's shooting a little bit better. Buddy Hield is playing better off the bench. So they have guys getting some good looks, and now you have guys that can get to the free throw line, slash, and Jimmy's kind of subconsciously leading I don't know how much vocal he's doing in that locker room when on the court, but you can see his energy and a lot of things he's doing. They're playing good team basketball, and he's making an impact that does not show up in the stat sheet on this group of young guys. And I think he's a better impact, more of a better, because Draymond sometimes great IQ guy, but sometimes you know how to talk to people. I don't know if we've seen that, and it comes off the wrong way. I think Jimmy has a better, soothing way of being the middleman, being the glue guy, and kind of being a mediator or a translator between Draymond cussing somebody out and talking to the young guy and encouraging him. So I think it helps a lot.
He's like it's like he might have a more dynamic skill set, but he's almost like it feels like he's like a more skilled Andre Iguodala for that team.
Yeah, exactly. I
think it's working out. I think the Kuminga thing is going to be interesting. How not just for this year, but how they move forward over the next 2 years. If Kuminga is a part of that team, or is there a better fit that you could use with Kuminga's contract? I'm going to be interested to see how that pans out. One more thing before we go here.
Mm-hmm.
If those Warriors were in the Western Conference Finals and they saw the Lakers, first and foremost, Adam Silver will be doing cartwheels. Adam Silver will be, name your finest bottle of wine, he'd be drinking it every night because he know the ratings will go out of this world. Because it's not just, obviously, it's Steph versus LeBron, but it's Steph versus LeBron with both of those teams actually still, and Luka and Jimmy, but it's the fact that both of those teams actually believe that they can go to the NBA Finals, if not.
And the world is looking at them like they're contenders now. The world's looking at them like these are two teams that could come out the West now. So they're like, this is a Western Conference Finals matchup to most people in their eyes. If you get that in the first round, they're like, oh, this is what we want to see. This is basketball we want to see. Because of course how much LeBron and Steph bring to they're just electric with those two.
Yeah, he would love to if he could get that in the Western Conference Finals, that way you're guaranteed either Steph or LeBron in the finals. What? Anyways, we can go into that.
I don't know if that's going to happen, but Lakers have been balling out. Give a lot of credit. No, it's not going to happen. I mean, I want to see how they do in this road trip coming up. They have good 4 games. That's the strength of schedule. Like the strength of schedule is a little tougher. I want to see where they land. If they still play well, then it's like, all right, I believe that they're a pretty good team this year. I still think it's a team for the future. I don't know if they'll be able to get it done, but they are balling. They are hooping, man. Shout out to, RP making it happen. It's looking a lot better on the Lakers side than it is the Dallas side. I'll tell you that. So
that's for damn sure. I will say this, my optimism in the Lakers remains true. I do think that some of the things that they're doing defensively will get exposed against certain teams. They've survived so far. They've played well so far. Full credit to them. Even still, I just think, I imagine if they play the Thunder, and the Thunder, they're blitzkrieg. They turn you over like nobody's business, and they score points over all. If you look at all the defensive deflections, turnovers, points over turnovers, all those type of things, they're number one, and it's not even close. But I look at that and I say, Luka and LeBron, y'all not turning in a playoff series yet. You can't count on turnovers against Luka and LeBron. That's where I think they're going to have the advantage. There is no other team in the NBA that can walk into a game and say 100% of our shots are going to be the 100% of the shots we wanted to take. And that's only the Lakers could feel that way. Obviously, yes, you're not going to have 100% shot.
The others, yes,
but
they're not going to make them all.
Only team.
They're going to get those 2 decision makers are going to continue to make those decisions on time, on target. AR, you couldn't rattle him. Maybe you won't shoot as well. You can try to rattle everybody else, but those 2 guys are going to lead the charge, and they're going to get the shots that they want. So yes, if this is what it is podcast, I would be saying pause because you talking about OKC turning people over. But I think I think it's still good enough defensively to make things hectic for the Lakers and Luka. They will double Luka. They will run around, trap, and Shea just gets the free throw line unbelievable. But they will have the pieces to throw different bodies at Luka and Bron and make others force others to make plays.
So if I look back at last year, the Boston Celtics had all the bodies for Luka. If it wasn't Drew, it was Derek White. If it wasn't Derek White, it was Jaylen Brown. If it wasn't Jaylen Brown, it was Jason Tatum. They had the bodies. And then nobody really helped out Luka. Kyrie had a terrible NBA Finals to his standard. That player now, when you blitz Luka, when you double Luka, when you ice Luka, that's on the other side of the court, that eventually could get swung to, LeBron James.
Yeah.
Scared, bro. I'm telling you. I know there's this thing is like Lakers exceptionalism, and people always want to talk about the Lakers. Lakers, they got something cooking, y'all. It's going to be a problem, and I can't wait to see how they try to solve it in the playoffs. That will do it for Inside the Green Room for this week. We will see you guys next week. Danny, please tell them what to do.
Read, rate, subscribe, review. Peace.